What's up, guys? Today we have to talk about the protests, the riots, everything going on around the country, because I've done nothing the last 3 days except scour Twitter, local news, national news, to try and paint the clearest picture I can for you guys. So with that said, this is my take, and let's jump into it. First, I just want to get out of the way that 98% of these protests are peaceful. The majority of these people don't want to burn down their own communities. I can tell you that from everything that I've found online and from the protests that I've been to, including my hometown, the one I went to yesterday, and filmed the entire thing. We had 100% peaceful protest. And I want to talk about the looting and the rioting and the destruction and all of that, but first I think we need to talk about the crazy, excessive police force used in a lot of places. You had protests in LA that by hundreds of accounts seemed to be 100% peaceful until cops started beating people what looks like completely unprovoked. You have another instance where a man with his hands up gets his mask pulled down by a cop and pepper sprayed. Then you have shit like this in Minneapolis where people are shot on their own front porch when posing absolutely no threat to police.
Light him up! Go inside now! Get in the house!
And to be clear, this was happening all over the place. Look at this montage I found.
Get the fuck on! Get the fuck off! Don't fucking touch me either! Fuck you again! What the fuck you gonna do about it? Nothing. Don't fucking touch us!
Guys, come to our shot. Watch your back hand. Come to our shot.
Leave him alone! Go, get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Back up! Get out of here! Go! Keep going! Keep moving!
She's walking away!
Burning. You guys see it right here. Police officers starting to move some of the crowd. Sadly, a man was just...
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that might have contributed to the riots? You have all these cops out here dressed like fucking stormtroopers beating the shit out of people at a protest against police brutality. Do you think that might set some people off? Now, I'm in no way condoning burning and looting and all that stuff. Not at all. I don't think that's the way to go. Some people might disagree with me, but I don't think it's the way to go. However, the cops are there to de-escalate the situation and keep the peace. Not act like frat bros on game night. I mean, seriously, did you see that one clip? What are you going to do about it, huh? What are you going to do about it, bro? I mean, that's not what the police are there for. They're supposed to de-escalate things. Take a look at this clip from New York where they literally ran over people. Now, if you're saying to yourself, Tim, but it was just violent protesters, even though it clearly wasn't, it was just violent protesters that were getting excessively beaten by the police. Well, here's a couple clips of news media getting shot at by the police.
Okay.
We got plenty of time here.
Are you okay?
I'm getting shot!
Katie, are you okay?
Rubber bullets! It's okay. It's those pepper bullets. Bullets.
Who were they aiming that at?
Nice shooting at the photographer.
At us, like directly at us.
Get towards us. They're working. Step back. Get back. Your head. His head. Step back. All right, there has been no provocation, Joshua. There was nothing that happened whatsoever. The police pulled into this intersection unprovoked right into the middle of the crowd, split the crowd, started firing in both directions.
Alright, now that we pointed out the bad cops, I think it's important that we point out the good cops too. like the sheriff of Flint, Michigan.
That he represents who these cops are from all over the county and around the station. We go out there to help people, not do that nonsense. That's right. So I just want to tell you, where's my man? Right there. Where's the gentleman? Pastor Hawkins, I'm just going to tell you, we want to be with y'all for real. So I took my helmet off and laid the batons down.
Yeah.
I want to make this a parade. So listen, I'm just telling you, these cops love you. That cop over there hugs people, so you tell us what you need to do.
Walk with us!
Yeah, now you want to know what didn't happen after that video was shot? Any rioting or looting, because they actually let the people protest and the cops joined them instead of using excessive force against them. Funny how that can work. Now, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that all the rioting or looting is due to the cops using excessive force. But if you don't think it played a part, I think you might be kidding yourself a little bit. Alright, now let's talk about who's to blame. If you listen to Trump and the GOP, it's Antifa and the Democrats out there destroying America. And if you listen to the establishment Democrats, it's Russia and white supremacist groups. And while I'm sure a little bit of all those groups are involved, except Russia, that's pretty much just a fantasy as far as I can tell. But as much as they would all like you to think it's what the other one is pushing, the truth is, it's just a bunch of pissed off Americans. Because you have to remember, the biggest majority in this country is not Republicans or Democrats. It's people that don't even vote. People that are so fed up with our system that they just don't even participate. And I don't think anything shows that that's the case more in this situation than this video right here.
I understand. They get killed on the daily basis. Talk to me. I understand. How old are you? I'm tired of this. How old are you? I'm 45 years old. 45 and I'm 31. And I'm tired of seeing. And you the older generation than me, and I am too. And we've been standing around as the older ones, taking all this bullshit. Always hoping for a kumbaya fucking y'all. Come here. Always standing around for a kumbaya. Ain't nobody coming to protect us. Let me tell you. We gotta start our own fucking life. I understand. But let me tell you something right here. This 16. He's 16! Oh my God. They gonna kill him next week. He's 16! What we gonna do? You tell me. What we gonna do? This ain't the way. Cause they ready to let loose. If the United States President say, if you loot, we shoot. Then you think doing this going on? I know it. It's always going on. But it's time to stand up. So at this point, I'm ready to die for what's going on. Let me tell you something. That's the problem that we got. What you see right now is gonna happen 10 years from now. And at 26, you're going to be doing the same thing I'm doing. You understand that? 10 years. You're going to be right here too. But he also got to stand up. So what I need you to do right now at 16 is come up with a better way. Because how we doing it, it ain't working. He angry at 46. I'm angry at 31. You angry at 16. It's over, you understand me? It's over. Putting yourself in harm's way is not the way. No, it's not. You and another your counterparts the same age and that has that same power. Y'all come up with a better way. Because we ain't doing it. Oh my God.
That right there is not Antifa. It's not liberals. It's not Republicans. It's not white supremacists. It's definitely not Russians. That's people in a community in pain. That's 3 different men, all various ages, who don't have any answers, don't know what to do. That man said he was ready to die. That's somebody that isn't just doing this for the fuck of it. That's just a man that's simply frustrated and doesn't know what to do. In a study done last year, before coronavirus, before Bernie dropped out of the race, before 40 million people were out of work, this study found that 40% of people just want to burn it all down. They're totally fed up with the political system, and they want to see it burn. It's also important to note that a survey found that 70% of African Americans think that racism is the #1 problem in America. Not global warming, not healthcare, not homelessness, but racism. So to all the people that don't think it's an issue anymore, I ask you, are they just all wrong? 70% of African Americans are just wrong completely. Like, I think that's just an insane stance to take. Now let's get to the riots and the looting, and more specifically, how we got here and what we should do instead. And while I could give you more of my opinion, there's two people I always look to when it comes to issues of race and race relations, and that's Killer Mike and Dr. Cornel West. So I want to play a little bit of what they had to say on this whole situation.
But I think we are witnessing America as a failed social experiment. And what I mean by that is that the history of black people for over 200 and some years in America has been looking at America's failure. Its capitalist economy could not generate and deliver in such a way that people could live lives of decency. The nation state, its criminal justice system, its legal system could not generate protection of rights and liberties. And now our culture, of course, is so market driven, everybody for sale, everything for sale. It can't deliver the kind of really real nourishment for soul, for meaning, for purpose. And so when you get this perfect storm of all of these multiple failures at these different levels of the American empire, now you've got a younger generation of all of these different colors and genders and sexual orientations saying, we won't take it any longer. But you know what's sad about it though, brother? At the deepest level? It looks as if the system cannot reform itself. We've tried black faces in high places. Too often our black politicians, professional class, middle class, become too accommodated to the capitalist economy, too accommodated to the militarized nation state, too accommodated to the market-driven culture tied with celebrity status, power, fame, all of that superficial stuff that means so much to so many fellow citizens. And what happens? What happens is we got a neo-fascist gangster in the White House who really doesn't care for the most part. You got a neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party that is now in the driver's seat with the collapse of Brother Bernie. And they don't really know what to do because all they want is show more black faces, show more black faces. But oftentimes these black faces are losing legitimacy too, because the Black Lives Matter movement emerged under a black president, black attorney general, and black Homeland Security, and they couldn't deliver, you see? So that when you talk about the masses of black people, the precious poor and working class black people, poor and working class brown, red, yellow, whatever color, they're the ones who are left out and they feel so thoroughly powerless, helpless, hopeless, then you get rebellion.
So I'm duty bound to be here to simply say that it is your duty not to burn your own house down for anger with an enemy. It is your duty to fortify your own house so that you may be a house of refuge in times of organization. And now is the time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. It is time to beat up prosecutors you don't like at the voting booth. It is time to hold mayoral offices accountable, chiefs and deputy chiefs. Atlanta is not perfect, but we're a lot better than we ever were, and we're a lot better than cities are. I'm mad as hell. I woke up wanting to see the world burn down yesterday because I'm tired of seeing black men die. He casually put his knee on a human being's neck for 9 minutes as he died like a zebra in the clutch of a lion's jaw. And we watch it like murder porn over and over again. So that's why children are burning to the ground. They don't know what else to do. And it is the responsibility of us to make this better right now. We don't want to see one officer charged. We want to see 4 officers prosecuted and sentenced.
And I totally agree with both of them. Listen, protesting is very, very, very important, and it draws a lot of attention to key issues. But it's only one element. What we have to do is all come together and vote these establishment pricks out of office. The same ones that turned our country into this hyper-capitalist mess. The same ones that gave Wall Street $5 trillion while 40 million people were out of work and a third of small businesses might close their doors for good. Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you're upset about the businesses being looted, but you're not upset that a third of small businesses might never open their doors again thanks to Trump and his lackeys failing to act, you're either a grifter or you're just not paying attention. And one more thing. If you're one of those people that says all lives matter when someone says Black Lives Matter, just stop. I mean, what is the point? You're protesting a protest? Is that what it is? No one said Black Lives Matter more. That's not what it was. Or Black Lives Matter more than white lives. It was simply Black Lives Matter as well. Like, hey, I also matter. That's the whole point. The fact that you're getting upset about that says a lot about you. Oh, and by the way, the president gassed a group of completely peaceful protesters so he could have a weird photo op with the Bible because he got so upset that Bunker Boy was trending on Twitter because he got scared and shut all the lights off at the White House and hid in the bunker. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. I really appreciate it. Peace.